The sky was a deep shade of blue and the sun shone brightly over the city, but something dark hovered above. A massive high-tech alien ship known as a Varaxian cruiser loomed ominously over Earth, its sleek form partially cloaked by advanced technology. The ship shimmered and flickered, its surface reflecting the sunlight in strange, unsettling ways. The Varaxians were known across the galaxy for their ruthless efficiency and technological superiority. Now, they were here, ready to invade and conquer. Inside the ship, the alien leader, a tall and imposing figure with shimmering green skin and piercing red eyes, stood before a massive screen displaying images of Earth. His voice boomed through the ship as he delivered a powerful speech to his troops. "Today we demonstrate our supremacy! The humans believe they can stand against us, but they are weak and foolish." His words echoed with confidence, sending a wave of excitement through his soldiers. They cheered, convinced of their invincibility. But not everyone felt hopeless. Far below, in the heart of the city, a small group of human rebels was busy preparing for a fight. Led by Alex, a young and determined pilot, they huddled together in a hidden basement. Alex's brown eyes sparkled with determination as he shared their plan. "We can't let them win. We need to sabotage their supply line before they even get a chance to attack," he urged his team. They nodded, their faces a mixture of fear and courage. Each of them had lost something to the Varaxians: friends, family, and their sense of safety. Alex knew the risks. His father had been a soldier, a brave man who died fighting against alien invaders years ago. His memory burned in Alex's heart, fueling his determination to protect Earth. "I won't let them take my home," he thought fiercely. The weight of his father's legacy pressed down on him, but it also inspired him. The other rebels, a diverse group of brave souls, looked to Alex for guidance. They had seen the destruction that the Varaxians could cause, and now they were ready to fight back. As the rebels gathered their gear and made final preparations, the atmosphere outside grew tense. The city was filled with the sounds of sirens and distant rumblings, but the rebels were focused, determined to make their stand. Just as they were about to leave, a loud explosion shattered the air. It echoed through the streets, sending shockwaves of fear and confusion throughout the city. The ground trembled beneath their feet as smoke filled the sky, blocking out the sun. "Go! Now!" Alex shouted, adrenaline coursing through his veins. The group rushed toward the exit, their hearts racing with both fear and excitement. The time for action had arrived. They dashed into the chaotic streets, where people were screaming and running for cover. The Varaxian ships began to unleash their devastating weaponry, sending beams of energy down toward the ground. Buildings crumbled and fires erupted everywhere. The sight was horrifying, yet it only fueled Alex's resolve. "Stay together! We have to get to the supply line!" he yelled, leading his team through the chaos. They moved as fast as they could, dodging falling debris and blasts of energy. Alex's heart raced as he glanced back at his friends, hoping they would all make it through this. The aliens had arrived with overwhelming force, but humanity had not given up hope. As they pushed forward, Alex spotted a Varaxian patrol up ahead. The aliens, armored and armed with advanced weapons, scanned the area with cold, calculating eyes. Fear gripped the rebels, but Alex quickly raised his hand. "We can take them by surprise," he whispered. "Follow my lead." With their hearts pounding, they crouched low and prepared for their first strike against the invaders. The tension in the air was palpable. This was it, the moment they had been preparing for. As they took their positions, Alex couldn't help but think about his father, the brave soldier who had fought for humanity. This was their chance to fight back, to show the Varaxians that they were not just easy targets. The struggle for Earth had begun, and with each passing moment, the stakes grew higher. Would they succeed in their daring mission, or would the invincible aliens crush their hopes? Just then, another explosion rocked the ground, and Alex felt a surge of determination. "We can't turn back now. We fight for our future," he shouted, rallying his team. They took a deep breath, ready to face the challenge ahead. The battle for Earth was just beginning, and humanity would not go down without a fight. The moment Alex and his team reached the street, chaos erupted. The Varaxian ships hovered menacingly above, their advanced technology glowing ominously in the smoky sky. Suddenly, the first attack began. Bright beams of light shot down from the ships, slamming into buildings and creating explosions that lit up the darkened streets. The sound was deafening, and shockwaves rattled the windows as humans screamed and scattered for safety. Alex felt his heart race as he watched the Varaxian war machines descend. They were enormous and sleek, with armor that gleamed in the light. Their AI-controlled systems made them quick and deadly, targeting anything that moved. The humans on the ground were completely overwhelmed by the sheer power of the alien technology. It felt like a nightmare as they watched their city burn, unsure of how to fight back. Just as despair began to settle over Alex and his team, a spark of inspiration hit him. He remembered the old technology they had salvaged from previous battles. "We may not have the latest weapons, but we can still fight," he shouted, rallying his friends. They quickly scrambled to set up a makeshift defense using EMP devices, simple gadgets they had built to disable electronic systems. If they could just get close enough to one of the ships, they might have a chance. With determination in their eyes, the rebels moved stealthily through the debris-filled streets. Alex led them toward a small clearing where one of the Varaxian ships was hovering low, preparing to fire again. They took their positions and Alex counted down. 3, 2, 1, now! In unison, they activated the EMP devices. A powerful pulse surged through the air, hitting the alien ship directly. To their astonishment, the ship suddenly sputtered and began to shake violently. It struggled to regain control, and then, against all odds, it went down, crashing into a nearby building with a deafening roar. For a moment, there was silence. The humans stared in disbelief, then erupted into cheers. They had done it! They had taken down a Varaxian ship with their outdated technology. This small victory ignited a flicker of hope in their hearts. They realized that even against such overwhelming odds, they could make a difference. Among the rebels was Bonner, a seasoned soldier who had fought in many battles. He stepped forward, his face filled with pride. "You see, it's not about having the best technology," he said, placing a hand on Alex's shoulder. "It's about heart and courage. You all showed that today. We can fight for our survival if we work together." Bonner began to share stories from his past, speaking of times when humans faced seemingly impossible challenges and emerged victorious. His words inspired Alex and the others, reminding them that they were not alone in this fight. They had the strength of their ancestors behind them, and now was the time to rise and defend their home. With renewed determination, Alex and his team knew they had to keep fighting. They gathered around Bonner, ready to learn and strategize for the battles ahead. The tide of the conflict was turning, and the humans were no longer just victims. They were warriors, standing against the invincible Varaxians, ready to reclaim their world. After their surprising victory against the Varaxian ship, Alex and his team found a temporary refuge in a rundown warehouse. The atmosphere was electric with excitement, but beneath it lay a deep urgency. They had defeated one ship, but the Varaxians were still a formidable enemy, and they needed a plan. Gathered around a makeshift table, Alex laid out the details of their next move. "We need to counterattack," he said, determination etched on his face. "The Varaxians think they're invincible because they rely too much on their technology. Their overconfidence is their weakness." The team listened closely, eyes wide with anticipation as Alex continued to strategize. "First, we'll set up cloaking devices to hide our movements. Then we can use drones to scout their positions. If we hit them where they least expect it, we might stand a chance." The rebels nodded, feeling the spark of hope ignite within them. They started to gather what supplies they could find, preparing to create makeshift weapons and gadgets. As they worked, vivid scenes unfolded around them. Outside, the sounds of war raged on. The sky was filled with the ominous sight of Varaxian ships firing beams of destruction onto the city below. Buildings crumbled, and the air was thick with smoke and dust. Alex looked out a broken window and felt a surge of anger. "We can't let this continue," he declared, fueling the team's resolve. Inside the warehouse, the atmosphere shifted as they focused on their tasks. They pieced together scraps of old technology, working quickly and efficiently. One of the rebels, a skilled engineer named Lisa, deftly wired together a series of drones. "These will be our eyes in the sky," she said, her fingers moving quickly as she connected the final components. As night fell, the team finalized their preparations. But even with their weapons ready, an unease settled over Alex. He knew that to win, they would have to be bold. "We're doing this for Bonner." he reminded them, thinking of the soldiers' wisdom and strength. Bonner had taught them the value of courage, and now they needed to honor his spirit. In the early hours of the morning, Bonner volunteered for a reconnaissance mission. He knew the risks but wanted to gather crucial intel on the Varaxian fleet. Alex tried to protest, but Bonner insisted. "You need to lead this fight, Alex. I've seen too much in my time, but you have the heart of a warrior. Trust me," he said, a calm resolve in his voice. Hours passed as they waited anxiously for Bonner's return. The tension was unbearable. Then a comm signal crackled to life. "I'm in position. I can see their command ship. It's massive." Bonner's voice came through, but just as quickly, static filled the air. Then the line went silent. Fear gripped the group. "Bonner!" Alex shouted, panic rising. They knew the Varaxians were dangerous, and the silence was deafening. Moments later, a loud explosion echoed in the distance. The ground shook, and they rushed to the window, witnessing a fiery blast from where Bonner had been. Tears filled Alex's eyes as he realized they had lost their mentor. But in that moment of grief, a fire ignited within him. "We fight for Bonner!" he shouted, rallying the team. "We can't let his sacrifice be in vain!" Fueled by anger and a deep sense of duty, they gathered their weapons and prepared for the counterattack. With Bonner's memory guiding them, they were ready to face the Varaxians head-on, determined to reclaim their world and honor their fallen friend. The time had come for Alex and his team to put their plan into action. With a mixture of fear and excitement, they launched a surprise attack on the Varaxian flagship, their biggest target yet. As they approached, the adrenaline surged through Alex's veins. This was their moment to turn the tide in the war. With the cloaking devices activated, the small fleet of human ships crept close to the massive Varaxian flagship, hidden from sight. As they emerged from the shadows, the surprise on the aliens' faces was evident. "Now!" Alex shouted, giving the signal. The humans opened fire, unleashing a barrage of laser beams and missiles at the unsuspecting Varaxians. Explosions lit up the night sky, and the sound of chaos filled the air as the battle began. The Varaxian war machines scrambled to respond, their advanced AI systems trying to assess the sudden threat. But Alex and his team were ready. In the midst of the chaos, the human pilots executed breathtaking aerial maneuvers. They darted and weaved through the enemy's defenses, their hearts racing as they dodged beams of laser fire. Alex flew his ship with skill, his instincts guiding him as he guided his crew through the enemy lines. They had practiced this, but nothing could prepare them for the intensity of actual combat. As they fought, the battle became a blend of close-quarters combat and dramatic aerial maneuvers. Human soldiers boarded the Varaxian flagship, engaging in fierce hand-to-hand battles with the alien soldiers. The sound of metal clashing and the cries of combat filled the air. Alex was in the thick of it, facing down a Varaxian soldier with fierce determination. He felt the weight of his mission, to protect his people and honor Bonner's sacrifice. Alex's strategic decisions began to shine through the chaos. He quickly assessed the battlefield, coordinating with his team to flank the Varaxians from multiple angles. "Cover me!" he yelled as he dashed forward, leading a group of rebels into the heart of the flagship. "We need to reach their control room." His confidence inspired his team, and they fought harder than ever. They moved as one, working together to dismantle the alien defenses. The explosions around them lit their path, revealing the dark corners of the flagship. Each victory fueled their determination. Every Varaxian they defeated brought them closer to their goal. In the control room, Alex and his team faced the Varaxian commander, a towering figure cloaked in menacing armor. The air crackled with tension as they confronted him. "You think you can win this war?" The commander sneered, but Alex stood firm. "We're fighting for our home and our people. You may have technology, but you underestimate our spirit." With a fierce battle cry, Alex charged at the commander, leading his team into one final desperate struggle. Explosions raged around them as they fought, each moment stretching into eternity. The chaos of the battle swirled, but Alex's resolve never wavered. He knew this was not just a fight for survival, it was a fight for hope, for freedom, and for the future of humanity. As the clash continued, the tide began to turn in their favor. The Varaxians were caught off guard, their confidence shattered by the humans' unexpected tenacity. In that moment, Alex understood that they were no longer just fighting to survive. They were fighting to reclaim their destiny. This battle of wits and strength would determine the fate of their world, and he was ready to lead his people into victory. The battle raged around Alex as he pushed through the chaos to confront the Varaxian commander. This was the moment he had trained for, the ultimate showdown. As he stepped into the heart of the flagship, he felt the weight of his mission pressing down on him. The room was filled with flickering lights and the sounds of alarms blaring. The commander stood tall, a menacing figure with a cold glare, ready to crush any hope the humans had left. "Alex, isn't it?" The Varaxian commander sneered, his voice echoing through the chamber. "You think you can defeat me? Your kind is weak." Alex tightened his grip on his weapon, determination burning in his chest. "We're not weak. We fight for our home and our people." With that, he charged forward, ready to prove his worth. The two clashed in an epic battle. The Varaxian commander relied on his brute strength, launching powerful attacks, but Alex had something different: strategy. He dodged and weaved, using the environment to his advantage. Alex remembered Bonner's teachings about the importance of using one's surroundings and outsmarting the opponent. As they fought, the commander underestimated Alex, believing he could overpower him easily. But Alex was quick and agile, using quick movements to stay one step ahead. He struck back with precision, landing blows that caught the commander off guard. The fight was fierce, each moment filled with tension as they exchanged strikes and maneuvers. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, with the commander preparing to deliver a crushing blow, Alex recalled Bonner's lessons about patience and clever tactics. He suddenly had an idea. In a split second, he feigned a retreat, luring the commander into thinking he had gained the upper hand. As the commander lunged forward, Alex pivoted and used the commander's own momentum against him. With a swift maneuver, he knocked the commander off balance, sending him crashing into a control panel. The commander stumbled, and in that moment of vulnerability, Alex seized the opportunity. He quickly activated the ship's self-destruct sequence, a tactic he had learned from Bonner's strategic wisdom. "You may have technology, but we have our wits," Alex declared as the alarms blared around them. The commander's eyes widened in shock, realizing he had underestimated Alex's intelligence. With the flagship's systems failing, chaos erupted. The Varaxians scrambled to regain control, but it was too late. Alex and his team worked together, disabling the ship's remaining defenses. The tide had turned completely. The Varaxians were now in full retreat. As the flagship began to crumble around them, Alex stood tall, looking out at the chaos. He had done it! The humans had triumphed against overwhelming odds. Their unity and determination had proved stronger than the Varaxians' technology. In the aftermath, Alex gathered his team, their faces filled with relief and joy. They had fought for their home and had won. "This victory belongs to all of us," he said, his voice filled with pride. "We showed them the strength of humanity. Together we can face anything." As the humans celebrated their hard-earned victory, a message resonated through the hearts of everyone present. When united, humanity could overcome even the greatest challenges. They had proven that strength lies not only in weapons, but also in the spirit of unity and courage. This was just the beginning of their fight, but they would face whatever came next together, ready to protect their world.